We have breaking news. Let's get right to it.
Past 24 hours, we've seen 34 new cases of COVID-19 here in Utah.
Following breaking news out of Utah, a magnitude 5.7 earthquake hitting just after 7 a.m. local time, about 10 miles west of Salt Lake City.
You need 100 to 150,000 tests a day.
Welcome back to Iso20 Podcast, or Iso20 if you want to keep it short and simple and to the point. Built like me. What's going on, y'all? I feel like this week has been a long week. I've been good. I've been consistent on getting you guys the podcast out every week. Being able to get my thoughts out every week, and just this week feels so much longer than the rest of them. And I don't know if it was because it was a stacked week. I had a lot of things going on, or if it's just life and things like that. I feel like life in general for a lot of people has been heavy. You know, that last episode was a heavy episode, but it was honest. It was honest. It was my feelings. It was everything that I was feeling that I wanted to get out without being just another Instagram post or, you know, a quick 30-second video. You can't really get all your feelings out with a 30-second video, or at least I can't. And so it felt good to get that kind of off my chest and get my feelings out there, because a lot of people hit me up and said that they felt similar, or they had, you know, there was some disagreements on protests and things like that. And one thing I always want to stress is that you can't tell somebody else how to feel. You can't tell somebody else how to react, right? So the way that you react and the way that you feel is the way that you do it, right? And the way that I do it is the way that I do it. And we'll have some people that agree both sides, either way. So thank you. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you. I believe it's episode 17. I think it's episode 17. We're going strong. Shout out to y'all. And I'm loving it. I'm loving life right now. I got my Michelob Ultra, still doing the Michelob thing. I weighed in, and no loss, no gain, no harm, no foul. Granted, I did go to a barbecue on Saturday. Shout out to my brother KJ. We celebrated my brother KJ's birthday on Saturday. His birthday is actually the 18th, so 3 days from today. Today's the 15th. And so be sure to go on to Lane Vision on Instagram at Lane Vision, and tell him happy birthday. Tell him that how great he is and how awesome he is, because he truly is, man. KJ is a great person, and not to get real like sentimental and shit like that, but you know, he pushed me to do things, to get where I am today, as far as learning graphics, learning how to do all of this myself, you know, from the YouTube gang, seeing the video, to the audio production, right? Just always trying to elevate. And so I salute my brother for helping me with that, and really just being a good friend and a good brother. We went, let's backtrack. Friday we went over to a bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street. And that was fun. That was a good time. My cousin showed up, Billy. Salute to Billy. And he had a gang of homies that showed up too. And then Angel from the other side of the Beehive showed up with his wife. And then Bad Boy Brian and his wife, Jasmine, my little sis. And then Donnell Lewis showed up with the Capital Syndicate Entertainment. Showed up, and it was just a good time, man. It was a real good time. We drank, we ate, and I got down, and it was I can't do this no more. I cannot mix alcohol no more. So if somebody says, "Yo, Dre, you want a shot?" Tequila all day. I had Donnell show up, and he was like, "Yo, let's do the apple beer with a shot of Fireball." And low key, it was good. It was a good drink. It was like Christmas in a cup. It was that good. It was really good. But, bro, my cousin Billy gave me Jaeger, and it was 2 Jaeger bombs. And then after that, Bad Boy Brian decided to be a real friend and get me some tequila, and so did Angel. And then Oh no, I think we did. I think we took whiskey. I think it was whiskey. But anyway, long story long, everybody ended up getting me shots and stuff, right? And likewise. And the things that we were shooting did not mix well together. And it was hard for me to get home Friday night. Not hard because my girl was there and shit, but I haven't been that drunk in a while and doing that kind of stuff. But I had a good time. My folks had a good time. Or at least I hope they had a good time. Thank you to all the staff and all the homies at a bar named Sue, just for being great. It's not often you get to work at a place or DJ at a place and have a good time and you're able to be yourself and things like that, and you get to play what you want. For the most part, there's things and songs that I stay away from just because I don't want to, let me say this. I play what I want, but I play it when I want to. So me playing Nuck If You Buck at 12:30 is probably going to incite a fight, or 12:45. But if I play it around the 11 o'clock hour, I should be cool, right? But I can definitely, I can't play Tekashi 6ix9ine at no 12:30. Like that 12 o'clock hour is shut down for Tekashi 6ix9ine or even Casanova. I can't. But yeah, thank you for everybody that showed up, that came out and kicked it with me. It was a real good time. So yeah, we go into Saturday, and my bro's birthday, and so we show up. I went and got a bunch of meat from the butcher, top sirloin. If you're looking for some good meat, go over to Main Street Quality Meats. It's like 25th South and State Street if you're in Utah, in the Salt Lake City area. But they got 5 sirloin steaks, top sirloin steaks, for $25, and this cut of meat is nice. It's so good. And so I got like 10 of them, and then I got some burger patties, and I got hot dogs. I was gonna get some brats, but they didn't have no brats ready. But yeah, so we go over there, me, my family, right, my 2 sons and my lady, and we get there, and Wally's there. For those of you that have followed the Flight 89 podcast, you know Wally G, Jaffanacles. He's a tattoo artist out there in Ogden, and he was there, and so I haven't seen him for a while, so it was good to chop it up with him. And then Birthday Boy had some family show up that I've never met before. That was cool. We slapped bones. The homegirl M beat me. I'm not gonna lie, she beat me bad. But I came back and I whooped Wally G, and I beat another dude that was there bad too. So I kind of re-upped. I was okay. And then our brother Prince showed up, and Jordan was there too. Jordan, you might for the Flight 89 folks that have crossed over or whatever. You guys know Jordan from the Vegas story. In Vegas, they always give me a hard time because Jordan and I, we just kind of kicked it in the crib while these guys were out on the strip and stuff, hella late or hella early, however you look at it. But yeah, he showed up. So I haven't seen him in a year. I haven't seen him since we got back from Vegas. So it was good to see him. KJ always talks about how he grills real nice and stuff. And bro, I'm telling you, like, the meat tasted good. Somebody could chop this up really bad. But yeah, KJ, he grilled real nice. The steak came out really, really good. Burgers were good. The hot links were bomb. Man, it was a good time, and the kids were laughing. That's what I love about summer, is that, you know, if you have a house, or if you go to a park or something, it's about those laughs. It's about those moments of, all this other shit is bullshit. This shit right here, this podcast, this YouTube, all this shit is bullshit. It doesn't matter this way, that way. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And for me, like, I do it because I enjoy it, right? I enjoy podcasting. I've been doing it for years. I enjoy YouTube videos because I love to get creative and edit and learn new edits and just curate something, right? But I also understand that it's bullshit. It's all curricular activities, right? It's nothing that is like a have to thing, or it's nothing that I feel is super impactful in a way that it's needed, if that makes sense. I feel like it's impactful because I do have people that reach out to me and talk to me about the stuff that I create. But what really matters is days like Saturday, where we have the barbecue we're going. We got the banquet tables out. We're slapping bones. We got food grilling. We eating. We having a good time. We're cracking laughs. We're cracking jokes. Yo, you remember this? Yeah. Remember that? Yeah, stuff like that. That's what really matters. Our kids laughing and playing, right? My oldest son is about the same age as the other kids that were over there and stuff, and my baby's the same age as KJ's baby. So it's like these moments are the moments that really truly matter. Are those moments of haha, we're having a good time, we're laughing, and those are the type of moments I want more of. I had a good time. I have a good time. Whenever I'm around friends and family and we're just bullshitting, that's what gets me going. Like, I love that shit. And I feel like I want to, as soon as I get into like the dream home and shit like that, I'm planning my home around that kind of stuff, right? I'm gonna have the bonfire where we have seating around this shit. I'm gonna have the barbecue pit with the bar and stuff like that. And yo, that's another thing too, is that we were playing beer pong. Mind you, I haven't played beer pong in a long time, a super duper long time. I haven't played beer pong. So we do doubles, me and little bro Prince versus KJ and the homegirl M. And we beat them the first round. Boom. Prince he knocks the first one down, then he knocks the second one down, and then I come back and I bounce it off the table and make him take two. We killing it. I forgot how much fun I have with beer pong. Beer pong's an underrated fun game. And low key, like, my son got kind of upset because he seen how much fun we were having. And he was like, yeah, I want to play too, Dad. I was like, this is a grown-up game. But then I started to think, like, is it bad that they should have like a juice pong or something like that for kids? Because it's a fun game. It's not just like, if it was a different drink, a different beverage, it'd be suitable for kids. I could see how kids would have fun with this. This could be a school activity. Is that too far? That might be too far. Maybe I'm pushing the envelope. But yeah, it was a really good time. Thank you to my brother K for having us come through. Sunday, we was just a family day. We just kicking it. We finished 13 Reasons Why season 4. Yeah, season 4 of 13 Reasons Why. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. If you're like me and you started 1 through 3, you kind of have to finish it with 4. The first one was done really well, right? Where they were pushing topics that I think any teenager can relate to, any adult can relate to. I feel, especially if you grew up in like the public school system, about bullying, about, and if you grew up in the digital age with cell phones, that kids are dumb. They send nudes, and then that shit gets passed along to school, and then now that person feels uncomfortable. Now there's bullying there, right? So, it's a show that caught my attention right away, and I was disappointed the further it got along. I'm getting tired of ghosts. I'm getting tired of one person dying, and the next thing you know, they're having a vision, and they're right next to him, and they're talking to him. Why did you kill yourself? Why did you rape her like that? And it's just stupid. Like, I'm tired of that type of back and forth. But I still watch. Ain't it something? And so, season 4, the ghosts don't go nowhere. Instead of Hannah, it's a different ghost. Again, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. But yeah, we finished that real quick. It was in and out real quick. And then yeah, we set up some patio furniture, and so we were able to kick it out on the patio now and things like that. Boys just kind of kicked it. It was a family day. We all just kicked it, and especially because Saturday we were out until pretty late, and the boys, man, they played their hearts out. So yeah, life's good right now. I know I said I was going to give you guys the year recap of my surgery, but we're almost 20 minutes in right now, and we still got some news and sports to talk about. So maybe I keep on saying I'm gonna save it. Let's just get into it real quick. My surgery. So I had surgery on March 31st, 2019. So I was born with a narrow spine. So my spine on the top is cool, but once it gets to the bottom, it narrows out not normal for an adult person. The bottom of my spine is about they said it's about the size of a small child. So, and I'm a big guy, right? So it's a lot of stress on my lower back, and in high school, lifting weights and trying to be a football player, which, side note, did not happen, not even a little bit. I tried out for the football team. I was on the defensive line with fucking 250-pound to 300-pound men. They weren't boys. These were men. Recco, Simi, fucking all you guys. John, all you big as fuck. Just uncalled for to be that big. And, yeah, once I found out that that was not for me, I turned into entertainment. Long story long, I was lifting weights and stuff. I've had some injuries in the weight room and in high school and stuff. I never got taken care of. I kind of just iced it and kept it pushing. And, over the years of working at Stephen Barry's throwing freight, right? Throwing boxes, lifting boxes, a bunch of other shit. I've hurt myself plenty of times. And then just being a DJ and lifting up equipment the wrong way and just life stuff. I've had some herniated discs, and so I've went to the hospital a few times in my lifetime. And this is by the time I was like 17 to 30. I've went to the hospital intermittently between then. Well, it got to the point where this last time, it was a week before the 31st, and I went to the emergency room because I couldn't even stand. I couldn't even walk. I couldn't sit or anything. I get in there. I get into the hospital, and they take images of my lower back and my hip, because when my back hurt, it felt like it was my hip. It felt like my hip was dislocated or something. And what was I gonna say? Damn, see, I lost my train of thought. And so once the imaging was done, once radiology was done and it was set, that's when he was like, yeah, everything looked fine. We looked at your back was fine, your hip was cool. There's nothing wrong. And so I was like, no, there is. There like I'm hurting. There's something really wrong with me. And so he was like, all right, the emergency room doctor is like, okay, fine. Let's order a not a CAT scan, MRI. He ordered an MRI. So I get into the MRI machine, and when we're going through, and it's an experience for me because I've never been in one of those before. You lay on this table and you going through like this tube thing, and it takes images of your whole body and whatnot. Well, they were focusing on my midsection. And so I have that done. I get out, I go back into my room, and they come back, and he has a specialist with him, and he's like, yeah, like your back's fucked up. And what we can do is we can get you some steroid shots, right? Like the cortisone injections. But you're so far past that, so far gone. Shout out to Drake. You're so far past that we don't see this being any good or any better for your back. You're gonna need surgery. And so we talk about it, weigh out the options. I talk to my family, right, and just let them know that, like, look, I wanna be able to take my health seriously in my 30s, because obviously I didn't do it in my 20s. And so I was like, look, let's just do it now, and let's just get it done. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, and the worst that can happen is me lose my life or become paralyzed. But as you can see, I can, I'm not paralyzed. Knock on wood. Hopefully, never go through that. But after I leave the ER, we have our follow up with the surgeon. We have the game plan down and everything like that. Boom, boom, boom. We go into the first day, which is surgery. I get my call. I called the day before, and so they tell me to be at the hospital by, I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. So we get there at like 4 or something. We're there super early. And I'm nervous. I wasn't nervous until I got to the hospital. Once I got to the hospital, I was hella nervous. I had to pee so bad. I had the bubble guts. I was really nervous. And my lady and my cousin showed up, and they helped me through that whole thing. And once my son, because Amari was with my lady, my baby, and once Amari got put on my chest in my prep room, he was sitting on my chest, and he's a baby at this point. He came and walked, and so that, like, I lost it. Like, I started to tear up, and I was like, damn, is this the last time I'm gonna hold my son? Like, I got real emotional. And so I say my byes, I give my kisses, and they wheel me up to the surgery room. And while they're wheeling me up there, they just put me on the side of the room, like on the side of the hallway, because they were still prepping the room. So I'm literally just like on the side of the wall, like a damn fucking phone being charged into the wall. I'm sitting there against the wall. It's cold as fuck. I ain't got no boxers on. I ain't got nothing. They just give you like this little like paper boxers or something like that. So your whole junk is out, right? I just got this thin ass little blanket to cover me. And then maybe about 10 minutes later, the doctor comes by. Nah, it was probably about 15, 20 minutes later, the doctor comes by and is like, all right, we're about to bring you in. You have any other questions or anything? I was like, nah, I'm good. Let's get it going. And so the nurse or the assistance person comes and wheels me into the operating room. And this shit is like, they had shit hanging from the damn ceiling. They had tables, like tables full of, not tables, but like counter full of like metal tools and shit like that. And there was like 7 people in there. Anesthesiologists, the nurses that help with the tools, and then the doctors, right? And the anesthesiologist is giving me a rundown. He's like, yo, this is what the drug is. Excuse me. This is what the drug is. This is what you're gonna feel, things like that. And so I'm like, there's no way. He has the gas mask, right? He's like, this is gonna put you out. You just can count to 10, and then you'll be out, and then you'll wake up in the recovery room. I'm like, no fucking way that you're just gonna put some fucking Bane mask on my shit and then just put me out. No, I'm a man. You ain't gonna put me out like that. And so he puts the shit on me. He's like, yo, count to 10. I'm like, 1, 2, 3, and I'm out. I didn't even make it to 5. I was out like a light, like a light. I was out. And so, at that point, I'm laying on my back, so they had to flip me over and everything like that. So shout out to whoever had to flip me over, because that was a job in itself. So then I wake up in the recovery room, and I'm trying to talk, but I can't talk at all. And I'm looking around, and I couldn't feel my bottom half for a minute. I couldn't feel. And so I'm like, fuck. I was like, that's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, fuck, I'm paralyzed. Like, this is over. Shit. I shouldn't have done this shit. I instantly get mad at my family. Like, why the fuck they had me do this shit? Even though it was my choice. And so I'm looking around. There ain't nobody next to me. There's no nurses or anything. So I can only see like to my right and to my right and to my left and what's in front of me. So I can't really turn my body to see what's behind me or anything. And so I'm like making some grunting noises because I can't talk. I don't know what's happening. The words that I'm trying to get out don't come out. All that's coming out is like grunts, right? Like you know what I mean? And so one of the little nurses or whatever comes over and she's like, "Oh, like you're awake? Like good morning." Because by this time it's like 10 o'clock, I think, maybe about 8. Yeah, I think it's about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, "You're awake now. We're gonna take you up to your room and whatnot." And so they end up wheeling me up to my room, and the chick that was rolling me, she wasn't the best driver. I was bumping into walls, bumping into other things, and so I get up into my room and stuff, and I'm sitting there by myself, and then all of a sudden my family starts coming in, and I can't talk to them. And so finally they were able to give me some water. They gave me some water, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I started to be able to talk, and I was like really weak and shit. And come to find out, they had a breathing tube in my throat, and I didn't know that. They didn't tell me I was getting a breathing tube unless I missed it. I don't know. And so my throat hurt for a minute. And so I'm in the hospital. My family starts coming in and stuff. I'm seeing my boys, and everything's cool. And then at that point, that's where I recover and stuff like that. So that was my first surgery, and I'm recovering in the hospital for, I don't think I was in there for 3 days. Got the tube in my back, and you can't twist or turn or bend too far forward. You got to kind of like just stay in one place anytime you move anywhere. And so it was the hardest thing to get up off that bed, though. I tried my best to hop up off the bed, turn my swag on, but it just didn't work. And so, by day 3, I was able to get out. I was able to walk. I wasn't able to feel my feet. Even right now, like to this day, my left thigh doesn't really have no feeling. When I say doesn't have no feeling, literally, like I'm touching it right now, but if I wasn't looking at it or if I wasn't doing it, I wouldn't know, right? And that kind of, it depends on if I'm standing, sitting, leaning, certain ways that I get, feeling in it. My right foot still doesn't have no feeling in it. I had to learn how to walk all over again. I didn't know how to walk. So while I was in the hospital, I would have to do laps around my department, my block, right? And that was a struggle. That was so hard to do. That was really hard to do. And thank you to my wife just for supporting me during that time, and my friends like KJ and Prince, and just my family, my cousin Melissa, like everybody, my parents, you know what I mean? Everybody that supported me through that. It was really tough. So I get discharged from my first surgery, and so we're in April at this point. No, that my first surgery was May 7th. So we're at the top of May during this time. So I come home and whatnot, and so I'm home now, and I got a home health nurse who changes my bandage every 2 days. And it's the most excruciating thing I've ever been through. Changing that bandage, because, I had staples, so they would have to clean it and stuff. So I ended up getting the staples out maybe about a week later after my first surgery. And so then from there, they cut the dead tissue to make room for good tissue when I went back to the hospital, get this thing clipped up, or get the staples taken out. So after that, the doctor was like, all right, we'll give it some time, and then you come back in a week and we'll take a look and see how it's healing up. It should be closing. And so the week goes, and it's starting to get it's gonna be nasty, maybe a TMI, but it started to get a little stench. And so we go back for my other follow-up, right? So we're about 2 weeks after surgery. And And the doctor's like, yeah, this ain't closing up. This ain't doing everything it should be doing. It's good tissue. Everything looks good. The smell isn't. I have no worries about the smell. It's not infected or anything like that. But it's not closing the way I want it to. It's not closing the way it should. He's like, I'm gonna order you a wound vac. And so I'm, what the fuck is a wound vac? So pretty much a wound vac is a vacuum. So it's a tube that, so there's it will get plastered into my wound, right? A tube goes into my wound, and then they turn on this suction device that closes the wound up. So it gets placed on the wound, and then as soon as it gets turned on, it suctions it closed, right? And while it's doing that, it's keeping it dry. It's keeping it dry, so all the moisture, any blood, any fluids are getting drained into a canister. And so the nurse would come by every 2 days and change my wound vac and change the cartridge and everything like that. So I had to walk around with this tube hanging out of my back. We're talking about my son's birthday, my birthday, all of summer. I had this tube in my back, and every time he would take it off, because remember, it's on my flesh. It's on my flesh, so it would fuse to the actual bandage. And so anytime the nurse would take it off, it would pull a bit of that raw skin, and it was the worst pain. That was the worst part of my surgery. It wasn't going underneath the knife. It wasn't being in the hospital. It wasn't even walking. It was the bandage changes. So thank God my nurse was good. Like, my nurse was smart. He was like, look, I could tell this is, because he deals with like gunshot victims and shit. And he was like gunshot victims don't even have this much pain. I was like, I don't know if it's because it's my back in the region. He was like, yeah, that's it. He was like, look, let's get some liquid lidocaine. And so he gets liquid lidocaine. We order it to the crib. Here's another thing too. During all this shit, my packages were getting stolen by some fucking dumb fucks. They were selling my packages off of my doorstep. That was my medical supplies. So that's a story for another day. But yeah, so he ended up ordering that lidocaine, and that shit worked a miracle. I feel so blessed to have the home health nurse. His name was Eric. Cool guy. He was into sports, so we were talking about the NBA and stuff like that, and talking about the upcoming draft, and what Zion was about to do and whatnot, and yeah, just was easy to talk to. My son would always get him some juice, some water, some treats for the road and stuff like that, because he's a home health nurse, so he's always on the go. And so yeah, every time he would change that shit, it was excruciating. I would scream. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And so, I don't even remember the day that I got the wound vac out, but the wound ended up closing pretty much to about the size of a $50, right? And then the rest of it, we just kept it off, and we just kept a bandage on it, and it closed by itself. And I got left with a nasty scar, a wild scar. It's a big scar, and it itches ever so often. Or if I rub my hand behind it or whatever, it feels weird. Like you can feel a piece of my spine's gone, and so it's a weird feeling. To this day, I can't really lift nothing crazy. Like, I can lift a little bit of weight, but walking, twisting, turning, I'm still I have to focus to have to walk. I have to focus on right foot, left foot, and things like that. So if you are somebody that has back issues, and your doctor is talking about a lapidectomy or decompression surgery, it's a common surgery. DC, Daniel Cormier, one of the heavyweight champions of the world, for the UFC, former, I should say, he had it, and he still fought right after it. Kevin Hart had this surgery done as well. So there are other celebrities. It is a common surgery, and I wish I would have known that before. So it's not as scary as you think it is. I mean, it's definitely a very invasive, very serious surgery. But if you're somebody that does suffer from back problems and back issues, I highly suggest you doing your research and finding out if it's a good thing for you. It was a great thing for me. One thing that really made the transition even better is that I actually prepped my house. I went and got a bidet before bidets been cool for COVID-19. I had a bidet, right? Because you can't twist, you can't wipe yourself, you can't bend or anything. And I'm not, there was portions of my day where I was home alone, right? So, and I'm not gonna ask somebody to wipe my ass, even though I know that I got loved ones, including my wife, that would be down. It's just one of those things, kind of gives you some power back in, handling the whole situation. I was going to get into news and sports, but you know what? I think I want to stay on this because it leads me into another phase within, getting better with surgery. Depression. Like I mentioned, you're not able to do anything for yourself, right? So you're constantly having to ask for help, even getting up and off of the bed, even putting your shoes on to try to go outside. Because mind you, I still had to do physical therapy. So I still had to get dressed. I still had to walk. I had to be active. And like I said, there was portions of my day where I was home alone. So I had to go and get my protein shake because protein helps with your tissue healing, right? So that's a kind of a tip. If you're gonna have this surgery, make sure you have a lot of protein in you because it helps with healing. That's why I was able to heal so well. But yeah, not being able to do anything yourself and not being able to do the things you want to. Mind you, I just had a newborn baby. My son is, let's see, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So my son's about 8 to 9 months old during this time. So he's just learning how to walk. He doesn't know how to walk all the way. That's why I joke and I laugh that I learned how to walk the same time my son did. But yeah, not being able to help out with that. I had my nephew living with us at the time. So we had 3 kids in the house. And it's a lot of stress on my wife and stuff like that. She was working, she was the one going to the store, she was doing everything, right? And that's why I love her so much, because she held it down. And I will always give her credit for that. She held it down. And so you get sad, you get depressed that you're not able to help out with the things that you normally would, right? Even down to picking up my son. I couldn't pick up the baby. He weighed too much. He's a little fatty. So I got down on myself, It was like, well, what the fuck did I do? Why did I do this? I would have rather be painful and be able to do the things that I need to do rather than just laying in bed and just watching cars go by outside, right? And, even being a creator, I felt like I couldn't go outside and take pictures or do a podcast or anything. But granted, I did document my journey through this whole thing, which is on my YouTube channel. So you can go back and watch that and kind of see the day after surgery, while I'm in surgery, all that stuff. So I was able to scratch that itch in that sense. But, I really fell into a depression. My sister passed away. I just found out my brother had cancer and he was locked up. He was in prison. And there was nothing that I could do, right? I got a crazy mother that was just not supportive and really more stressed than what I needed during that time. And so it's a bunch of shit that piles on, right? And like I said, the only thing that really got me through that was talking to friends and making sure and having family that was there to keep me sane and let me know that, look, it's okay. You're going to get through this. Like, it's going to be all right. So, if you are thinking about this surgery or any surgery for that matter, and you're going to be down and you're not going to be able to do everything that you normally would, make sure you have your mental checked. Make sure, and when I say checked, I'm not saying you need to go to a professional, I think that, but have these conversations with the people in your circle, the people that you care about, the people that care about you, and just let them know that, look, I'm normally really active. I'm normally really the go-to person. I'm the strong friend. I can't be the strong friend now, and that's going to get me down. I need you guys to really look at this and, you know, really, really let me know that everything's all right and that you guys got my back. Because if that doesn't happen, you're going to get down on yourself really bad and you're going to get into a dark place. And I think that it's a common place that a lot of people have been. You know, for everybody that's out there smiling and laughing and joking, it's not always that, you know? And so, yeah, you know, I once I talked to my folks and I was like, yo, this is what I'm feeling. And I got real vulnerable because I feel like, maybe I'm not, but I feel like I am the strong friend. I feel like I am the one that people come to for advice. People come to for just to get stuff off their chest, right? And so it's vulnerable to not be that and to be on the other side of it and be like, yo, look, I'm having a hard time. I've had these thoughts. You know, they're not the best thoughts in the world, and I'm really struggling. And you know, once I did that, and let my guard down and stuff like that, I felt like that's when, you know, there was an understanding and I was able to get through it. And, you know, I feel so much better. I feel so much better than what I did when I had right before I had my surgery. Because it was a good time. Remember, I just got back from Vegas. It was a great time. We were all having a blast. And then, you know, I get the news that I need the surgery and stuff. And, yeah, so the first surgery happened and I had the second surgery with the wound vac, and then I healed up, you know, and during that healing process, I fell into depression, and I feel like the comeback was even better though. You know, I've been able to do things I haven't been able to do in years because of my back. And I still got a long ways to go, but you know, it's better than where I was at. So, yeah, I wanted to, let's see, where are we at? We're at 41 minutes. Do I even want to jump over to news and sports? One thing that I do want to call out is Rashard Brooks in Atlanta, in Georgia, lost his life by the hands of police. Rest in peace, my brother. It comes what, about a month from George Floyd's death. It comes during a time when we're still protesting that Black Lives Matter. And for those of you that are not up to date or know what's going on with Mr. Brooks and the Atlanta City Police Department, the brother was in Wendy's drive-thru and dash cam. This is probably the most documented one that we've seen so far. And when I say one, I mean murder. They got different angles. They got body cam footage. They got everything. And so Mr. Brooks is in the Wendy's drive-thru and he's asleep. He alleged to be drunk. And so they call the cops. I'm not sure who they is. I'm assuming it's Wendy's. It might have been another patron, but they call the cops. Cops come to the scene. It's just one squad car. And he comes up to the driver's side and Mr. Brooks is passed out. And so he gets him up and he ends up moving his car off to the parking lot, right? Just maybe about 10, 15 feet away from where he was. The first officer said that when he parked his car, he went over the ledge or over the curb and then backed up and then parked. And so the second squad car comes up, and this is the man that actually murdered Mr. Brooks. Comes up and he's questioning him, and Mr. Brooks is completely cool. He's not angry. He's not arguing or anything like that. He's cool. You know, it's an easy going situation. They do field sobriety. He failed that, and he didn't do all the commands. And so the officer that murdered him, he then says, all right, well, it looks like you had too much to drink. Put your hands behind your back. And so he grabs Mr. Brooks' arm, puts it behind his back, and begins to put handcuffs on him. Well, Mr. Brooks breaks away and he runs. And they hang on to him, both of them, right? Both cops hang on to him, and they're wrestling, they're tussling back and forth. And the one officer pulls out his taser and tries to tase Mr. Brooks. I'm not sure if he actually got a tase off, but Mr. Brooks ended up grabbing the taser and runs away from the police. Well, the one cop is right on his tail and coming after him, shooting a taser, and then Mr. Brooks turns around, shoots the taser, and then he's running away. His back's towards both police officers. He's running away. And then the officer pulls out his gun and he shoots, I believe it was 3. Bam, bam, bam. And kills Mr. Brooks in the Wendy's parking lot. Patrons that were there argue it. He didn't do nothing. Like he was running away from you. And you know, it was a situation, and you get to see the whole thing, like the body cam footage. The one officer that shot him, his camera got detached from his person and was on the ground, so you can hear a lot of the things in the background. But then he ends up putting it back on after everything's done, and pretty much all of Atlanta PD is down there. They had tons of cops there, and it's a weird situation because you could tell that his brothers in blue knew that he fucked up, because some of them wouldn't even talk to him. Some of them, he'd be like, "Oh, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while." And they were like, "Yeah, uh-huh." But then some were like, "We're going to get you. Well, you all right? All right, we're going to take care of you. Don't worry." Like, it was weird. It was on some, like, we're going to cover this up. We're going to make sure that you're good type of thing. And the officer that shot Mr. Brooks knew, I feel, like he did something wrong, because he kept asking, and maybe this is just a good soul. I don't know. He kept asking, what's his condition? Like, what is he alive? And during that whole time, they had no word. Maybe they did. Maybe they just didn't tell him. But there was one, I think it was a lieutenant or maybe a sergeant, asked the cops, both of them that were involved, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah." And you could tell he was about to talk to him about it. He was like, he's like, don't say nothing. I don't want no details. Not right now. And the whole time, though, this is one thing that I did like, is that the police, all the cops that kind of was, I guess, superior or supervisor or something like that, all of them were like, "Keep your camera rolling. Keep it rolling. Keep your body cam footage on." You get to see him drive all the way down to the precinct, to the headquarters, a homicide, because it was ruled a homicide. It's just sad, man. It was really sad, because, you know, even if that brother was drinking and driving, he was parked, he was asleep, I think we could have handled it differently. I think that it didn't need to get physical. If you need to send him to the drunk tank, okay, let's do it safely. And, you know, I think that you already knew he didn't have a weapon on him. You were about to arrest him. You knew he didn't have a weapon on him. So even if he runs, you better run your ass alongside him. You got pepper spray. You got another taser. You got, as fast as those other squad cars got there, if you needed backup, radio for backup. But it was a non-lethal situation in my eyes. Granted, I am not the police. I don't know. I'm not Mr. Brooks. I don't know what's going on in everybody's mind. But hindsight, if it's not a lethal situation, he wasn't behind the car no more, so he wasn't a threat with his car no more, right? It was parked. Both feet were on the outside of his car. Once you got him out and you were doing field sobriety, maybe that's when you talk to him a little bit. Talk to him a little bit more. See what's going on. You got to gain that trust. You know, we're in a day and age right now where we see you as a threat. And when I say we, I'm talking on behalf of Mr. Brooks. Like, now having these two guys, if I'm not in the right state of mind, these guys are a threat to me, right? The one cop, I feel really bad because, you know, while he was running and he was trying to apprehend and detain Mr. Brooks, the other one was slowly walking behind him and just popped 3 in him. Sad, man. Sad. And he's a father. So that's what makes it even harder. I don't know what I would do if my girl or my family had to tell my sons that dad didn't make it home. It's heavy, man. It's heavy. I do need to salute Coach Popovich of the San Antonio Spurs. This was a quote that he had for the NFL, specifically for Roger Goodell. A smart man is running the NFL, and he didn't understand the difference between the flag and what makes the country great. All the people who fought to allow Colin Kaepernick to have the right to kneel for justice. Roger Goodell got intimidated when Trump jumped on the kneeling, and he folded. That's a direct quote from Coach Popovich. I have a lot of respect for this man. Not only is he a great coach, but what a way to stand up for your team, for your league. Majority of the league is black. And so, for you to call out another owner or another executive in another organization that is equal to or bigger than, that's huge. That's using your voice. And, a lot of people are scared to do that because they're scared of backlash. They're scared of, if I do this, I'm going to lose my job. Or if I do this, I'm going to lose this sponsor. Or if I do this, I'm not going to get this opportunity. One thing that I did learn from Charlamagne tha God, and opportunity comes to those who create it, is simply that. If I have a sponsor on this channel or on this podcast, and the sponsor does not like what I said or they don't agree with it and they decide they want to separate from me, that's fine. They have the right to do that. But it's not going to stop me. You know why? Because I'm going to get it. I'm going to build my own opportunity. Yeah. I think we're good. I think today's a good pod. I finally got the surgery off my checklist of things I wanted to talk about. Be sure, because I got a bunch of content on YouTube. So if you are one of the podcast people and you only dig just the podcast, that's cool. I appreciate you. But I do drop a bunch of content on my YouTube channel as well. Reaction videos, this podcast, vlogs, just a lot of different stuff. And so thank you to everybody that has subscribed to the YouTube channel. You can go on to allrawk.com. That's ALLRAWK.com for everything, Instagram and all that good stuff. My Instagram handle is @Drerawka. That's DRERAWKA. I got a new project that is about to launch in August. So I look forward to showing you guys more on that. Maybe some behind the scenes type of things. Maybe I'll vlog a little bit and do that. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your continued support. And I am back at a bar named Sue, so be sure to check me out, because if you're looking to get out, I know we all been quarantined. We all been isolated. We're still keeping with the isolation 20 though. But if you're looking to get out, I'll be at a bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street. Most likely weekly, but you can check out my Instagram for more information on that. And yeah, I hope you guys all have the day that you deserve. Tell your friends about me. And if you want to donate, you can do that on the website as well. Everything that you guys contribute to this channel, to this podcast, goes right back into y'all. I've been saying I want to get some t-shirts, some hats and stuff. So if I can get some donations and stuff, we'll make that happen. But yeah, other than that, I have nothing else to say. You guys have the day you deserve. Peace.